ただ一つ確か成果しか。
Welcome back to Gabriel Talks Gundam. If you remember last time, we discussed the MS-06A, C, and F variants of the Zaku 2, and the Guntank early type, prototype, and mass production type. We also went over the Guncannon first type. Today, we will be discussing 3 variants of the Zaku 2, those being the MS-06GD high mobility type for surface warfare, and the MS-06R-1A Zaku 2 R1A for space warfare. We will also be discussing the last but not least RX-77-2 Guncannon prototype. The MS-06GD Zaku 2 High Mobility Surface Type was a custom ground combat mobile suit deployed by the Zeon military during the One-Year War in UC 0079. The suit would be put into the hand of the elite Brown Southern Cross team. The MS-06GD could hover over the ground due to its high mobility leg thrusters. Painted with a brown camouflage scheme, each of the 5 Zakus carried various armaments that fit each pilot's role, including close-range combat and long-range support. Commanded by Egba Atler, the team saw combat in multiple fronts, including a battle against the Earth Federation forces in the North African city of Casablanca. On Makuve's orders, the team was deployed to the island of Algranza on a special mission to initiate a manual launch of nuclear missiles secretly stored under the island's surface. However, they encountered resistance in the form of Kokuru's Doan, their former commander, who was living on the island and working to sabotage the missiles, and at the same time, the Earth Federation forces assault carrier White Base deployed its mobile suits to find missing pilot Amuro Ray and his RX-78-2 Gundam that went down to Doan earlier and was stored under the island. A battle would end up taking place on the island's surface, with Amuro and Doan wiping out the entire Brown Southern Cross team. The Brown Southern Cross team would be the most notable group of pilots to pilot the surface type. The team consisted of Egba Atler, Selma Livens, Danon Rashika, Waldo Ren, and Young Sang-hoo. The high mobility type could and would use these armaments: the 100mm machine gun, the ASR-78 anti-ship rifle, the Type B2 MS bazooka type, the heat knife, the heat saber, and the good old heat hawk. The first appearance for the high mobility surface type would be in Mobile Suit Gundam Kokuru's Doan's Island. When the Principality of Zeon's military deployed its new MS-06R1 Zaku 2 R1 for field testing during the One-Year War, comments and feedback on the test unit's design came back from pilots on how to improve the mobile suit even more. These ideas were then made into another upgrade, the MS-06R-1A. The R1A type saw minor engine problems corrected, and its additional propellant tanks were replaced with removable fuel cartridges, making the R1A faster to refuel during battle. A total of 56 new R1As were produced, with half of the original 22 R1 units upgraded into R1A types. Despite the increased performance in its popular design, the R1A unit was deemed too expensive to produce and too difficult for green pilots to handle. Production on the R1A type was halted, with the produced units becoming desired status symbols among Zeon mobile suit pilots. The R1A type was used by many famous Zeon aces, including the Black Tri-Stars, consisting of Gaia, Mesh, and Ortega, and Eric Mansfield of the Home Defense Corps, and Masaya Nakagawa, stationed at the Abawaku asteroid base. The units used by the Black Tri-Stars survived the war and were used by Shar Aznavour and 2 other pilots upon his return to the Earth sphere in early UC 0083. Their distinctive color schemes created the momentary impression with EFF pilots that the Black Tri-Stars were still alive. Some other notable pilots besides the Black Tri-Stars and Shar Aznavour would be Vasily Bosch, Uma Lightning, Shun Matsunaga, and more. The armaments that could be used would include, but weren't limited to, were the 120mm machine gun, Zaku bazooka, the classy heat hawk, the ASR-78 anti-ship rifle, the Type B2 MS bazooka type, and the giant heat hawk. The first time the high mobility surface type would be seen would be in Mobile Suit Gundam Kokuru's Doan, and for the space type would be in Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin. In UC0078, Anaheim Electronics produced the RCX-76-02 gun cannon first type for the Earth Federation of Forces. An elite squadron was deployed to fight Xeon mobile suits at Mayor Smith V on the lunar surface and performed poorly. Engineer Tim Ray argued that the gun cannon first type was not what a mobile suit should be and persuaded the EFF to allow him to develop mobile suits in what became Operation V. The mid-range fire support RX-77-2 gun cannon was one of the results of the Operation V and showed remarkable improvements over the first type. The standard gun cannon utilized the core block system, which allowed the pilot to eject the cockpit and transform it into the FFX-7 core fighter to escape, just like the gun tank prototype. In place of the first type's simple manipulators, the gun cannon's human-style hands allowed her to use a beam rifle. The gun cannon's main armament was a pair of shoulder-mounted 240mm cannons, which could be swapped out with spray missile launchers. It also featured a pair of head-mounted Vulcans. On September 18th, UC0079, the gun cannon was mobilized when the Xeon Ace pilot Shar Aznavour attacked the Side-7 colony where the Operation V mobile suits were secretly under development. A surviving gun cannon was loaded onto the assault carrier White Base along with the RX-75-4 Gunting and RX-78-2 Gundam. Civilian-turned-pilot Kai Shiden used the gun cannon for the rest of the war until its destruction at the Battle of Abawaku. In the later stages of the one-year war, the EFF fielded the RX-77D gun cannon mass production type along with the variants like the RX-77-3 gun cannon heavy custom and RX-77-4 gun cannon 2. At the same time, the EFF added gun cannon elements to the RGM-79 GIM to create the RGC-80 GIM cannon. After the one-year war ended in UC0080, the EFF also produced an amphibious version, the RX-77AQ gun cannon Aqua. In the post-war era, the gun cannon's role was carried on by the newer RGC-83 GIM Cannon 2. Some notable pilots would be Kai Shiden, Amuro Ray, Ryu Jose, and more. Armaments that were included on the gun cannon included the 240mm cannons that could be interchanged with spray missile pods. It could also and would carry the beam rifle. The first time that the gun cannon prototype would be seen would be in the original 1979 Mobile Suit Gundam show. And this has been episode 4 of Gabriel Talks Gundam. Today, we went over 3 of many Zaku 2 variants. The high mobility type for both Earth and space warfare, and we went over the gun cannon prototype. Next time, we'll be discussing the one and only RX-78-2 Gundam. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss another episode. And this has been Gabriel Talks Gundam.